Good morning, everybody. It is Kate, the West Coast Paper Crafter, joining you live on Facebook on October 17th at 9 a.m. Pacific time. If you are catching me live, hello, I'm happy you are here. And if you're catching this on a replay, I'm happy you're here as well. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Kate. I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator on Vancouver Island in Canada. And today, this morning, I will be sharing project number 4 in my Amber Autumn card class to go. Now I'm using stamps from the Amber Autumn bundle as well as the dies, but I have the case packed up because I have an in-person class tomorrow, so I can't show you. So it's a really beautiful fall set, and this morning's project is just going to be a really quick design that you can use with any kind of patterned paper that you have, any stamp set. It's very versatile. So some of you know I was away on a work trip this week, so I just got home fairly late last night and I had no idea what I was going to make today. So I was trolling the internet for some good ideas, and I came across this very simple design that I think you guys are going to like. I've never done this before, but I know I'm going to love it because I love designs where I can use up some of my pattern paper. So this is not overly fancy. It comes together really quick. And I've done some pre-die cutting and coloring because it turns out my husband needs my help in about 20 minutes, and he has an appointment to go to, and he needs my help taking this big water tank off the back of his truck, but he never mentioned it last night when I got home, so now I got to hustle. So I did do a few things to get a head start on it. So I did mention that I was going to be using some Stampin' blends in this morning's tutorial, but I had to go ahead and pre-color those because my husband had plans that I wasn't, aware of. All right, so I'm just bringing up my laptop. I'm seeing your comments. I see some of my friends are popping in. Hey, Carissa. Hi, buddy. You are at work. All right, well, I'll see you on the replay. Hello, Diane from Quebec. I'm really glad you made it. Hi, Kathleen. All right, I'm going to flip the camera around. It's going to be a little bit bumpy. You might want to close your eyes because, I'm just working with my iPhone on a phone stand. So it's not a smooth transition, friends. All right, so here is my very messy craft space. Now I'm using my little ink spots that I get in my paper pumpkin today because my big ink pads, they're all stored in the baskets for tomorrow's in-person class, and I didn't want to muss things up. Let's quickly go through the measurements. I've got a Cajun Craze A2 card base. Now this is 5.5 by 8.5, scored in the middle on the long side at 4.25 and folded. Hello, Alana from Thunder Bay and Jennifer from Alberta. How's it going? Glad to see you. Basic white for the inside, so this is optional. If your card base is a light color, maybe you don't want to add any layers to the inside to be thrifty and save some money, but I do love my layers, so this is 4 by 5.25. And then I've got 4 pieces of pattern paper, and they're all in different sizes. The top left is 2 inches by 2 inches, top right 1.5 inches by 2 inches, the bottom left 1 inch by 3 inch, and the right left 2.5 inches by 3 inches. I'm just going to put these over to the side for now. And then I cut out a circle from the Stylish Shapes dies, and this is a 2 1/8 diameter circle, but you might need something bigger or smaller depending on what sentiment you're using. All right, so super easy. We will get started. What we're going to do is add our pattern paper to the front of the card. Now, I do like layers. If I would have had a little bit more time yesterday, I would have cut a contrasting or coordinating cardstock layer to put these pieces on, but my time was limited. So today they're just going right on the card base. I'm just going to line them up. So I want my 2 by 2 in the top left corner, and then my 1.5 by 2 inch rectangle in the top right corner. Then I want my 1 inch by 3 inch piece on the left side, and then my biggest piece of pattern paper is 2.5 by 3 in the bottom right. Now, if I forgot to mention, this is the Gathering Together Specialty Designer Series paper from Stampin' Up. It's so beautiful. And I know that there's a Designer Series paper that comes with the Amber Autumn stamp set in the suite, but this paper is so beautiful, I just had to incorporate it into the class. Hello, Shelley from Pennsylvania. I'm happy you can be here today. So just a quick little tip, when you're arranging a bunch of different pieces on your cardstock or on a layer, sometimes I use a little bit of Post-it note tape to just keep my layers in place while I'm gluing them down to help with my alignment. So Post-it note tape, I just get this from Amazon. I think it's about $7.50 Canadian. And this one is 1 inch wide, right? So it's not overly tacky, but just to be safe, I like to just untack it a little bit. I don't know if untack is a word, but I'm taking away a little bit of the stickiness by taking the Post-it note tape and sticking it on my hand or my finger and removing a little bit of that stick. And that way I'm fairly confident that I am not going to tear the paper when I remove the tape, right? Because I don't want to do that. So I'm just aligning the paper where I think it should go. I am going to have some borders on the top, bottom, and side edges of the card, and that's what I want because I want my Cajun Craze to peek out. Jennifer, you use press and seal. Well, that's clever. Clever. Whatever you got, right? It just kind of helps if you want to line it up. So, oops, that didn't stick very well. Maybe I took too much stick out of it. Anyway, so I'm going to make sure that my 1 by 3 inch piece is lined up with that 2 by 2 on the left edge. And then I'm going to do the same thing with my biggest designer series paper. I'm just going to make sure that that edge lines up with the edge of the piece right above it. All right, that looks pretty good, pretty good. Let's glue. Let's get gluing. All right, so glue whatever, you know what, hang on. I might want to adjust just a smidge. I think I need to bring it a little bit closer. Yep. All right, I don't want too much gap. So I do think an extra layer of cardstock underneath this piece, just 4 by 5 1/4, would actually be really nice. So I might have to remake this design a little bit later this weekend with an extra layer. I love layers. Just to see how that looks. Okay, now I'm ready. That's better. So I'm just going to start by gluing down the top 2 by 2 square right in the top left of my card base, and just lining up with that piece of 1 by 3 inch pattern paper that I taped down beside it. I just moved it over slightly to the left because I obviously can't make a solid decision about placement today, so bear with me. All right, Jennifer, you got the Post-it tape as well in 2 different sizes. It's so handy, hey? Hi, Donna from Washington. I really like the Post-it note tape. I use it for a lot of things, actually. All right, so now I'm adding the 1 inch by 3 inch piece of pattern paper, just aligning the edges with the 2 by 2. And now these 2 pieces are going to be my guide for the remaining 2 pieces. So as long as I've got everything lined up by the edges, then I've won. I'm winning, right? Hello, Annette from Ontario. I bet Ontario and Quebec are both incredibly beautiful provinces right now with the changing of the leaves. Our leaves change a little bit slower on Vancouver Island, but they are changing. I went out for a beach walk today with Willie. That's my dog, for those of you who don't know. I've mentioned this a few months ago that his time he's on borrowed time because he has a large cancerous tumor that there's not much the vet can do about at this moment. So he'd given him about 2 months to live, but that was a few months ago. So he's doing really good actually. And I feel like every day is a bonus day. So every Friday is my first day off work, and I try to get Willie down to the beach as soon as I get my son on the school bus, because the beach is Willie's. He really looks forward to it, actually. He knows Friday mornings are beach walk days. We've been doing it for years. And now that I know time is borrowed for him, I don't want to miss a single Friday. So it's been a good day so far. I'm really happy that he's doing so well, and he's not in any pain, and he's eating and he's sleeping good, and he still wants to go for his beach walk. So how lucky am I, hey? Hello, Donna from North Carolina, and Edie, I hope I'm saying that right, from Wisconsin. All right, so pieces are down. So this is the basic template for this card. So you can see that you could use any kinds of pattern paper. Now, if you're like me and you like extra layers, just take a piece of 4 by 5 1/4, put that down on your card base first, and then you can add these pieces, and they're still going to fit, but you're going to have less gaps. So I do love layers, so you can stay tuned. I'll probably remake this card a little bit later this weekend and just try it out with a layer, because I think that would be beautiful. So because I'm on a little bit of borrowed or short time this morning with my husband making plans without telling me, I've already gone ahead, stamped and colored in the acorns and leaves from the Amber Autumn stamp set. So I used Cajun Craze for the leaves, Pecan Pie for the top of the acorn, and Crumb Cake for the body of the acorn. And then I die cut that out with the die from the Amber Autumn bundle. And then I've just grabbed the Thanks stamp from the set, and I'm going to stamp that in Cajun Craze on this 2 1/8 diameter die cut circle. So I'm going to put that probably right here, and then I'm going to layer this acorn underneath. So I know that I want my thanks to be in the upper part of that circle, just so I don't cover it up with the acorn when I throw it down. And then I'm going to add some ribbon and some bling, and we'll fill up some of this negatives or this extra space on our card. Hey, Kate, you're on the road and you were driving. Well, I'm happy to see you. Thanks for tuning in. All right, so I just got a little ink spot from a paper pumpkin. Which one was it? Fall, oops, you can't see this, but from my paper pumpkin from last month, Fall for Toil, and it was a really beautiful set. I'm happy I got that one. Now this month's paper pumpkin, there's been a bit of a glitch with Stampin' Up, so maybe some of you have experienced this as well, but I keep getting an error notification that my payment method won't go through. So I've talked to Stampin' Up, they know about it. It's a bit of an IT glitch. I'm hoping they can sort it out. Otherwise, I'm going to be missing out on October's paper pumpkin, which is a Christmas theme one. So I'm hoping I get it, but if I don't, I'll survive. It's not like I don't have many other craft kits that I can start putting together. So I'm just going to add a few leaves to the edges of this die cut, and I grabbed these tiny little leaf stamps that came with the paper pumpkin. I'm just going to do them in Cajun Craze as well, but I'll do that in second generation. So I'm just stamping off, and then I'm going to add, some lighter leaves around the edges of that circle, just to add a little bit more interest to the front of the card. Good morning, Janet from Vegas. All right, so let's get the top, just the little corner here, and around the side, and then the acorn's going to cover up the bigger chunk of negative space on that circle die. All right, so the handy thing about ink spots is that you can really build your color collection if you are a paper pumpkin subscriber, because you're going to get a new ink spot every month. I find that really handy, actually. All right, so here's our sentiment. I pushed a little bit too hard. You can see that the H is smooshed a bit, but it's fine. I'm not going to worry about that. I don't think it wrecks the card. Hi, Joanne from Scotland. Thanks for tuning in. I'm glad you like the colors. Hello, Louise from MD. I don't know where MD is. I might have to Google that. All right, so now I've just cut a piece of the irregular weave trim. I'm going to add a strip of tear and tape to the back of the circle die cut, and I'll tack that tear and tape down. What am I trying to say? Words, Kate. You can tell I need an extra coffee already, even though I've already had two. I'm just going to add this tear and tape to the very back of the circle die, and I'm going to use that to tack down the irregular weave trim. That's what I'm trying to say. Oh my goodness. Sometimes my brain doesn't work. It's a problem. It's a big problem. All right, so I've grabbed some irregular weave trim. I'm fairly generous. I've got just over 7 inches here. I'm going to fold it in half and then just add that on an angle. Oops, like so. So the nice thing about tear and tape is that it's going to let you manipulate the trim underneath here, right? So if you stick it down and you don't like where it's landed, you can just easily pick it up and reposition it. All right, so I've got the irregular weave here. I like it. It's going to be good. This is going to get covered up a little bit with my acorns. You'll see a little bit poke out, but not too much, and that's okay because I wanted more of the ribbon out, poking out from the top here. All right, I can change that though, because I can actually just bring this down just a smidge and then more is going to poke out. Why not, right? Why not? There you go. All right, now you can stick this down flat or you can pop it up. I'm going to pop it up. And what I like to do when I add ribbon to the back of any element is just to secure it with a little bit more tear and tape. Hello, Deborah from Virginia, and another Louise from MD, which is the state of Maryland. Thanks for letting me know, because I don't know all these places. Tanya, the Canadian Stamper's tuning in. Good morning, buddy. How is work today? Tanya is a good friend of mine, the Canadian Stamper, and also my upline. If you're familiar with Stampin' Up, demonstrators join teams, essentially, and hopefully you snag yourself a good upline, which is what happened to me. So I ended up joining Stampin' Up under Tanya a few years back. I think it was 2022, after I had like flat out said I didn't have time to make cards. It's a story. I've shared it before, but long story short, Tanya and I worked in the same office building. She did a card making workshop for Christmas for the office, just for fun, little Christmassy theme. And someone told me to come, and I said I didn't have time to make cards. That's ridiculous. And she convinced me. I made some cards with Tanya. I joined up like a couple weeks later for the discount, and then we ended up being really good friends. Yeah. So funny how things work out, right? Because I literally said, I do not have time to make cards. No work today, Tanya. That's awesome. Lila from England. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but I hope I am. And Jeannie from Iowa. Thanks for tuning in, guys. All right, so now I pop this up. I'm going to add the leaves and the acorns right underneath, partially popped up and partially glued. So I can see that my leaves are going to stick right to the circle die, so I'm going to add a little bit of glue to the back of this leaf, and then I'm going to add 2 dimensionals on the acorns and the bottom of the sleeve and that leaf, and that should be all I need. And just to be safe, I'll use minis because I don't want the dimensionals to hit that circle die, as I want everything to be the same height, if that makes sense. Rainy from Arkansas. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in. Hello, Donna. I know lots of comments today. Friday mornings are good. They're busy. Hello, Lou from Michigan. Slightly down with the Blue Water Bridge by Sarnia. Oh, well, thanks for letting me know. Thanks for letting me know. Okay, so I've got 3 dimensionals on the back. I'm just going to add a little tiny bit of glue right to the back of that bigger leaf. And now I'm going to commit and stick that right there. All right, so almost done. I need something to fill in this negative space here, so that's where embellishments are going to be a good friend. I have got some low profile dots. Now I just checked Stampin' Up before I started this live, and these are in the clearance right now. So if you're in Canada, they're under $9 to get this package of embellishments, and they're actually really pretty. Hello, Tiona from Edmonton. I definitely am probably saying your name wrong, and I'm sorry about that. And Brenda from Tennessee. Okay, so low profile dots. I'm going to take these yellowy tinge, gold tinge. I'm not sure what color they are, but they're going to work out really good. The colors will complement, and I'm just going to put a couple of these dots in that negative space. I don't want to overdo it, but sometimes I do overdo things. Now, I'm going to do 3 on the die cut, but I feel like I need a few more. I'm clearly channeling my friend Karen today, who is a bling queen. Karen, if you're catching this on a replay, this is for you, buddy. Hey, Christine, thanks for tuning in. All right, 5. You know what? Let's keep going. I never do this. I feel wild and crazy today. I'm going to do 7. 7 seems like a good number. When I was at my hotel yesterday, I noticed that there was no 13th floor. How superstitious is that? Do all hotels omit the 13th floor, even though technically there really is a 13th floor? Hello, Frankie Canada. Thanks for tuning in. All right, so I've blinged that up with 7 low profile dots. That's crazy. And now I'm just going to add my inside layers. So from that paper pumpkin kit from last month, there's these tiny little acorns, and I thought, well, how perfect is that? Let's put them on the card. Yes, Frankie, the dots are from Stampin' Up. These are low profile dots. They are in the clearance section right now. I want to say they were $8.40 Canadian. Cheap, cheap. Yeah, you're right, Tanya. I should roll my tool. My putty is crazy. All right, so I just added the acorns in early espresso right in the bottom corner. My dog is telling me I have to hurry up. I can see my husband's outside. He's bringing the truck up. He's got expectations that I need to hustle. All right. Okay, we're almost done. We're almost done. Christine says no 13th floor in hotels. What? All right, now the leaves, Cajun Craze, top corner, and that's it. I'm going to throw this to the inside, and then we'll do a little recap of the first 3 projects, and then I'll get to work helping my husband. All right, so if you are in Canada, before I forget, if you're in Canada, this is important. If you're in Canada and you are shopping with me this month, or you're interested in shopping with me this month, my October shopping special is a tiered system, and I'm probably going to do this going forward because it feels really fun. So tier 1, you purchase anything from me. It could be $6 in dimensionals. It doesn't matter. You automatically will be invited to my Zoom, an exclusive Zoom card making class November 1st. Tier 2, if your order is $60 or more before tax and shipping, then you're in Tier 2, and I'm going to mail you the card kits for the class. Tier 3, if your order is over $100, you're getting access to the exclusive online class, the card kits, and a pack of dimensionals from me. Frankie, I get my glue from Stampin' Up. I get all my stuff from Stampin' Up. So that's what's happening for my customers in the month of October. I think this is going to be how it's going to work out now going forward, at least till January, because it feels really fun. And if you are on my Rain or Shine Paper Crafters team, you're automatically getting the Zoom invite as well. So you'll be invited to join that exclusive card class. All right, just give me 1 minute, honey. I'm almost done. So my time is up, but let's go over. Here's our card from today. Super cute. Project number 1 in the Amber Autumn card class to go. Project 2 is a pocket card. How fun is that, hey? And then last week we did this really beautiful easel fun fold. So flip the camera around. That is it for today. Thanks everybody for tuning in. I will post this on YouTube a little bit later for a replay. I'm really happy you spent your mornings with me. Fridays seem to be a really good day to go live, so maybe I need to rethink when I do my my classes. So let me know. Let me know. Do you like 7 p.m. Pacific on Thursdays, or do you prefer a 9 a.m. on Friday morning? Because I'm up for change. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Again, if you are my customer this month, then you're getting an exclusive online card class November 1st. I'm really excited about that. And yeah, that is it. If you're catching this on replay, say hello, tell me where you're from, and I hope everybody has a lovely weekend. I will see everybody Monday evening. Bye for now.